Muffins. Morning, guys. It is frigid outside, and I am going to get on feeding the animals before we sourdough discard recipe today. And so I'll bring you along for that. I'm coming up with some creative recipes, smaller batches that you can use if you have a smaller home. We have Chris and I and my mother-in-law living at our house, and so we don't have a bunch of people. And so we are going to do a smaller batch of a discard recipe that's easily done. The crackers that I made in the past, I'll leave a link to that video. That was also a discard recipe with einkorn. We ate up in no time. They were gone like bam. So the crackers didn't need anything to eat with it, or any of that stuff, because the crackers were so good by themselves. So we'll be doing more cracker recipes. We'll probably do a waffle recipe. Everybody has done that, but we're going to do a muffin recipe today, a higher protein recipe with our discard. And so we'll check that out. We're going to get going, feed the pigs, the cats, and they are enjoying their time still in. I have them here in the shop just because it's been so cold. We're talking in the teens. And so we were going to let them out this weekend, last weekend actually. But when it gets down to the teens, these cats aren't used to it. I don't want to do that to them. So I let them run around in the shop around the time that I feed them when I'm in the shop, because they are male cats. I don't want them to spray on anything. That just leaves a major stink. Even though they're fixed, I don't know. Plus, I want to get them adapted to the outside. They're such sweet cats, and we need to get some straw bales, even for when we do put them out. Probably put them out in about 40 degrees. We're going to put some straw barrels around their house, just like Millie's house. Okay, there's our little friends waiting for us. Now I got to get them their food. Okay, let's check their water. It's probably frozen. I may not be able to give them water until later. Yeah, there's some water in there, but oh. Yeah. Okay, so it's not totally frozen because I'll come back this afternoon and give them water. I did manage to break that ice open, and they'll be good on that. And so I'll go feed the chickens now. Buffy, what are you doing up there? Huh? What are you doing up there, my little buff? Huh? She'll get down in a second. Okay, I'm just going to throw some water on top of their pool, the ducks' pool, because that feeder won't work when it's this cold outside, and the ducks are waiting for me to put some water in there. Ducks really like to have water next to their food because they need that food to help them digest the water, they need the water, to help them digest the food. Uh-oh. That's not working. That means that might work a little later. I'll see if I can crack this open for the ducks. Good old rocks. If I can get them out of the ground. Here's one I can get out of the ground. Everything's frozen to the ground. I'm gonna have to go get them water. So we had some frozen egg issues. So they're totally frozen when they're like that. So those will get put in the pig bucket that we keep here, our bucket, pail. We would have a bucket if we had a bigger family. I wash the nasty ones and put them in the fridge. The ones that aren't nasty in any way, I go ahead and just leave them out on the counter. Here's my sourdough. Her name's Ina. So we're gonna get working on this recipe. We need 1 cup of sourdough discard, and then I gotta feed her. Okay, this is my recipe that I am making with the discard today. You guys can screenshot that. And pretty thick. And my discard has all-purpose flour and einkorn flour. So einkorn whole wheat. Eggs. Whoops. These are duck eggs. They're really large. Three and 4. I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of milk, 1/4 milk, and then I'm going to whisk that together and get that all combined. Just like so. Just mix that all so it's well combined. And then we are gonna add our cheddar cheese, a bell pepper, some onions, and some cooked bacon. And this is a breakfast muffin, egg muffin. Okay, we're gonna add half a cup of shredded cheese. This is Colby. You can use any cheese of your desire. I would normally use probably cheddar for this, like a Tillamook or something like that. And then I'm going to cut up some. Okay, so we have a Walla Walla from last season I need to use up, so I'm going to go ahead and use that up. Starting to sprout. We love growing Walla Wallas. They're such a sweet little onion. So since it's a little onion, I'm going to go ahead and put in the whole thing. It says 1/4 of a cup of onion once I chop this up. We'll see. That's about 1/4. And then if I don't use all my bell pepper, I always put that in the freezer. And I need 1/4 cup of bell pepper. Thought about this ahead of time, I would have defrosted it. I might go ahead and defrost it a little bit in the microwave. And cut that into cubes. We're just doing 1/4 of a cup on that too. So now you could add some hotter peppers to this if you like things spicy. I do, but I don't have any right now. And I would add, if it wasn't my first time doing this recipe, I would go ahead and add a lot more onion. I like to test out recipes the way that they come before I venture out onto making them. Now we're going to do 1/4 of a cup of cooked bacon. We always have bacon in the fridge because once it's cooked, we can always add it. So I'm going to use 4 strips of bacon in this. So yeah, don't throw those bell peppers or any peppers away that you guys are using to make whatever. If you have some left over, just put them in your freezer. You can always, like next time, only buy 1 bell pepper if you need a pepper and a half or something like that. So we'll mix those together. And then pepper and salt to taste. Not like I'm gonna taste it with raw egg in it. I don't know why they say that. Okay, so. Okay, and I'm probably gonna put 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there. Mix that up. You can always add salt later. Okay. Now I'm just going to put these in a muffin tin and cook them for 375 or 190 degrees Celsius. It makes 6 muffins. So I'm going to put that in a non-stick thing. Which butter is fine. I'm just going to put these in some of these nice little cups here. Then I don't have to mess with any of that. We're just going to do 6 of them. There we go. And you are going to fill these up 3/4 of the way. Small ladle works perfect for this. Feeling I'm going to be able to fill up this whole tray. And that is fine with us. This is supposed to make 2 servings because it's that healthy, but the nice thing about this is my husband can grab one of these on the way to work. And we're using our discard. And it's a quick grab and go breakfast. which is awesome. So this made for me, probably because I put a little extra starter in here. A little more than 6. It made 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. So I'm going to put those in my oven for 25 minutes and we'll see you when it comes out. Like so. Okay, so I'm going to save some of this discard and just put it in my fridge because I want to start feeding this with just einkorn. And so I really don't need, this is all-purpose unbleached organic flour in here, but I want to just do einkorn because it's better for us. And, you know, because we're grinding our own wheat berries, it's going to be a lot better. So I'm going to put all this extra starter in here and just put it in the fridge, and then I can make it for other starter recipes in the future. I just don't want to throw it away. So we'll get this down as much as we can get it down. This also has a little einkorn in it, but in my jar it is down to the nub, and that's fine. So that will be put in the fridge with a lid on it, and I'm just going to clean up around the edges, push this all down so I can see a proper line in there, and then I will grind some wheat berries, some einkorn wheat berries, and put it in here and feed my starter with that. Actually, when I push this down, there's quite a bit of starter in the bottom of it. I ordered a mock mill, but it is not going to be here until March because they are on back order. Everybody wants them because they are the best. So what I'm doing is I have this old coffee maker thing because I used to grind my own beans for coffee all the time. And so I'm just going to put a cup of or a little less than a cup of fresh einkorn berries in there out of my freezer and grind them up. So before I started doing this, I cleaned this thing out with rice because it did have some old berries in it. I have this on fine, and I just push. Oh, I gotta plug it in. That's okay. And so, you know, it's a bit annoying because I can't do that many, but it actually grinds it up kind of fine. Okay, and then I'm going to put some warm water over that, like 1/4 of a cup on my stir. Okay. And I'm just going to mix that together. And so it's easy to change flour on starters. Don't worry about it. In fact, whole wheat, you can go from whole wheat to, I mean, this was all-purpose to whole wheat, just like that. It doesn't really matter. If it's whole wheat, all wheat, whatever. So I'm just gonna put this in the freezer next to my einkorn berries and save those, and then I'll save this starter too, and we'll make other fun things with it in the future. Through a fine mesh sifter to make it from whole wheat to all-purpose, a very fine sifter, and that's how you make all-purpose out of whole wheat. Cute little muffins. So we'll try one of those when they cool down. Little breakfast muffins. Okay, it came, left a little bit on the package there, on the wrapping, and has a nice little bite to it. Since I followed the recipe really tight, I would add more cheese to this. That was one thing I would change, a little more bacon probably. But I would keep the onions, maybe increase the onions a little bit, and well, all the ingredients. I would increase a little bit, except for the sourdough, to keep it higher in protein. So you could use any kind of sourdough starter with this, would work better. The einkorn, which is higher in protein, would work really good. But it's delicious, guys. Give it a try. Another great thing to do with your sourdough discard, and it's delicious, and you're not wasting. God bless. We'll see you next time here on Hedgehog's Homestead. Bye. That's good.